Hey everybody, it's Ziz here, and this is a new video I'm going to put out every week called ESO Insider. Now what this is all about is giving you news about Elder Scrolls Online from someone who actually plays the game, who knows what's going on inside the game. I feel like there's a lot of websites or YouTubers or news things out there that maybe put the information out there, but they don't really know what they're talking about because maybe they don't play the game or something like that. So I want to make sure there's information out there that is actually relevant, that actually applies in-game from someone who plays and knows what's going on. Alright, so first thing we're going to talk about are add-ons. Now, if you've been on the internet at all about ESO, you've noticed that people are all going crazy about add-ons. Now, a little bit of backstory: when they first introduced the API, the way that you can make add-ons for ESO, it was wide open, and they let the people, the beta testers, do anything they wanted, make any kind of add-on they want, is whatever they could think of. Well, what happened was you ended up with add-ons and programs where people could see what their target was casting, what the other person was casting, and then the game could, their add-on could automatically interrupt it. So without the person pressing a button or doing anything, it would just automatically interrupt it every time they were doing something they didn't want. So if their target was healing, boom, it would just automatically interrupt. Or if their target was going to throw down a stun, boom, it would automatically interrupt. And the player wouldn't have to do anything. They'd just sit back and let it happen. Well, obviously, that puts you at a huge disadvantage if you're not using that add-on. Not only that, but let's say you weren't using that extreme borderline cheat method of playing the game, but what if you were just using a cast bar, right? Well, it's a lot easier to see a giant yellow cast bar and know that your target is healing, as opposed to watching the game and seeing what your enemy's doing and learning the animations and things like that. So they wanted to make a more level playing field and make it so people who had add-ons weren't at a huge advantage over people who didn't have add-ons, right? And you can understand a giant yellow cast bar makes it really easy and gives you a big advantage over someone who doesn't have that. Well, a whole bunch of people got in a stink over this, and they start saying, oh, they're ruining the game, and it's not competitive, and it's not a real game anymore because we can't see our buffs and debuffs and cast bars and all that stuff. But that doesn't make sense, because what do you think's easier, seeing a giant yellow cast bar or learning the animations and when to interrupt your target? It's probably easier just to use the add-on and see, right? So all these people who are complaining that the game's not competitive because you don't have add-ons, that doesn't make sense. The game is more competitive. There's a higher skill cap now, and you have to be better at the game to do well. Before, all you had to do was have a little add-on and it told you what to do. Sure, you may not be able to see your buffs or debuffs in a giant icon that tells you how much time you have left, but maybe if your buff lasts 10 seconds, you could just remember, oh, it's been about 10 seconds, maybe I should push the button again. So I don't think any of this stuff about add-ons being removed or anything, because add-ons are still in the game. You can still have damage numbers, you can still have loot add-ons, you can all this other stuff, but all it did was making so people with add-ons and without add-ons are actually on a level playing field. And if you are complaining that you feel like the game's not competitive anymore, I would say maybe you were using those add-ons as a crutch, and you probably just got to get a little bit better, and the game is still competitive. So that's all I got for today, you guys. ESO Insider. I'll see you next week.